Hi, I'm Dave, owner of Future Past Vintage Collectibles. This is my daughter, Rachel.
Hi.
Rachel,
Yes.
how are you?
I'm good.
Okay, today we're going to do a couple things. One thing I want to do is I had mentioned on our last video that there's a lot of places I go every day. We're going to go over 10 different places I buy comics. We're going to do that today. And we're just going to give you kind of a brief overview and maybe introduce you to some places that you haven't been looking, and maybe some of these fall into the kind of things that you want to get. But we're going to do that first, and then we're going to do an unboxing.
Yes.
Right?
It's true.
Okay, so let's get started.
Yeah.
You have the list. I made a list so I didn't forget.
This is our top 10 places to buy comics. Let me get the list pulled up.
I didn't know we were doing that.
I didn't either until right then. So number one, I feel like is the most obvious place.
Where is that?
eBay.
eBay. Who has not bought a comic on eBay? I have bought a lot of comic books on eBay.
You have. It's true.
Probably, I don't even know how many.
I don't think it's the place you bought the most, though.
It's not. I'll tell you when we get there.
Okay.
I know as a fact. But I've bought a lot. I was an early adapter to eBay back in the day when it just got started. I remember
that.
talking at work. I was a crap dealer in Las Vegas at the time. And talking to other people, and as eBay went to a publicly traded company, I remember thinking that will never work.
I remember as a little kid, you selling comics on eBay.
Yeah, I was an early adapter I with eBay and CGC, both. I don't know what happened to that account because I didn't use it for 15 years. So I just started a new one. eBay is still a place that we buy and we sell. I consider it the largest comic market. I think there's a lot to know to be effective at buying comic books on eBay and getting good deals. One thing I'll say before we move on to someplace else, because I don't need to tell a lot of people about eBay,
Right.
is that on the other side of that transaction, there's a human. A lot of people lowball people or they don't want to discuss it, and I really try to, when I make an offer or when I buy something, I try to have a conversation with that person and treat them with the same respect I would anyone else in the community. You should always remember, everything we're doing as a comic community has to do with people, not some big conglomerate. And I'm going to bring that up later in this list because there's nothing like being treated like a number or people not paying attention to what you're doing when you're spending a lot of money. So eBay is one of the places.
And we sell on eBay. A lot of people, we've gotten a lot of new subscribers, and a lot of people are asking where our store is. We have an eBay store. It's linked down below if you want to check it out. We haven't posted anything on there in a while, but there is content on there if you want to take a
We'll
look
be putting some more stuff on there this month.
Yeah, because a lot of people have been asking, so I meant to say something about that. Since we're talking about eBay.
Glad you did. We don't hawk it. I really don't want this channel to be like that.
People have just been
Everyone,
asking,
if you're watching, you know that we sell comic books. So I don't need to shove that down your throat. This is really about entertainment, education, and community. We'll mention from time to time where we sell books, but that's not going to be the center of what we're doing. What was number 2? Now these are not in order of preference, by the way.
Your top 3 is definitely a top 3, though, I think.
Yeah, I think they are the places I buy the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the second one is Heritage Auctions.
Yeah, and I buy more at Comiclink than Heritage. And if you can pull up Heritage, if you're, I think that people that are on a budget don't even look at Heritage because it seems like there's nothing under $100. And that can be expensive. And there's a lot of fees to buying on Heritage. What I would like to bring up is how to look at books. So you need to be able to sign in and do all of that. So you need to set up an account. That doesn't cost anything. Okay. You go to categories, and you go down to all comics, and then you start to scroll down, and you'll see some books that are for sale, and then keep scrolling until you get to the auctions, and then you'll see a list of auctions. So this list of auctions here, you can go through them. They have a weekly auction. They have focused auctions. They have what they call platinum auctions, and some of them they'll send you a book like this, and in the book they'll show you the books that are for sale in that auction.
I get a lot of those.
I actually keep these. I have bought some books that are in these books that they print. They have their own print shop. They do this. It's a really nice feature. Probably the premier auction house for comic books, but their specialty is older books. So Golden Age. They have a great reputation for what they are. Definitely a place you should check out. One other thing on that site. So under Comic Market Buy It Now, I've bought a lot of books like this. I've made offers that have been accepted. I've made offers that got rejected, but It's kind of a sleeper. A lot of people don't look in there, especially the ones who are there for the auctions. And I've actually got some good prices and got some good deals on the Buy It Now feature. It's changed a little bit, so I can't vouch for it in the last few months. It's been probably 4 or 5 months since I bought something on Buy It Now. Just wanted to bring that up. So this is a great site. It doesn't cost anything to be a member of it. And one more thing about this particular site, you have to pay in cash. And so if you like to like float credit cards and do stuff, not so much. eBay you can. This site you cannot. What's the third one I had on the list?
So the third one is something we've talked about a lot. It's the CGC board. Which is on CGC's website.
Let's explain how to get there. So if you go on the CGC website, this is the same website you would go to slab something. Can you show that real quick? So
Yes.
so let's show what you would do if you're going to get a book encapsulated.
Yeah, I do this a lot.
Go ahead.
Let me show you.
Talk about that for a minute.
So I'm on CGC's homepage right now. You go to submit and then submission forms. And then it's going to ask you a bunch of questions based on what you'd like to submit. Obviously, we do comics. So under order submission, you can select what kind of comic you're submitting and then how you want to submit it. If you want to do it regular grading or signature series. There's just a bunch of questions you ask, basically.
Is there a learning curve? I mean, the very first time you submitted, someone showed you how, me. So
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. The thing that can be frustrating is searching for a book. Sometimes it's hard to find the correct submission when you're searching.
So when you're entering the book that you want to submit, it's not there.
Sometimes. And
Sometimes,
then
yeah, I've
there's
seen
different
that, yeah.
tiers, and the tiers depend on how old the book is. So there's a little bit of a learning curve, but it's pretty cut and dry.
I would say don't let this intimidate you. If you want to submit books, you don't have to go to a comic book store to do that. You can get them pressed clean, sent back to you, and you submit them yourself. I've been doing it for over 20 years. It's not hard because I can do it.
If he can do it.
Yeah, really. We're going to talk about the chat boards. So if you can show Rachel like how to get on the chat boards.
Yes. So I'm on the page again. You can actually see chat boards, right?
You have to create a username.
When you create your account, you set all of that up. So
You have to have an
the chat
account. You
boards.
have to have an account to get
Yeah.
on the chat boards.
Correct. And then this is what it looks like.
So as you go down, there's lots of forums that are not about selling comic books. They're strictly discussions. I'm going to tell you right now, this is the best resource anywhere on comic book information. The challenge with it is it may not be what you're looking for. If it's not, you can start your own string and other people will chime in. And a lot of questions you'll see other channels too. When something gets really complicated, they'll start referring to what people say on the board. This is the cognoscente. This is it. This is the place that you have some real sleeper collectors that have been on this board for over 20 years.
Since it started, probably.
They know more than most people have forgotten. And they're, it's just a resource of information and some fantastic people. So a lot of this stuff, you cannot sell books. You can't even talk about a store. You can't do any of that. It's a heavily moderated site. However, as you scroll down the page, when you get to Comic Market, this is the place to sell. There are rules, and you should read them before you do it. I really got chastised my first couple months on it. I made some mistakes.
You can get banned if you don't follow the rules.
Well, if you're not honest. I mean, you have to steal money, You can get points and you can be in what they call the Hall of Shame, which is bad. When you see HOS on here, that's what it means. No one from the Hall of Shame. I don't
Not
want
House
you
of
buying my
Secrets.
book. It doesn't mean
Hall
House
of
of Secrets. That's right. So the Kudos forum is a place where if you're selling books or you want to buy books and you want to see more about that person you may not know, you can go on there and people are just talking about transactions they made and if they liked them and all of that. For me personally, I don't have a Kudos thread. I have a pretty good reputation on the board. People that know me, I mean, we're typically friends. I like to communicate with people. And this is a really fair place to do business. But that's a good resource for you if you're trying to figure out, like, hey, should I buy from this person? So what are the 3 forms you can buy in?
So you have gold and silver bronze aged, copper and modern age, and then mixed age.
Mixed age, I've bought a lot of books there because gold, silver, bronze, if you have 20 comic books you want to sell, and let's say that some of them are modern or some of them are past, I think they have a cutoff of 1985. Anything,
say, like, on the top.
it does in the rules. So anything after 1985 you can't sell on that particular board. And the moderator or even another boardie will point out, hey, that's too modern. On the mixed, you can put all eras and you'll still find good things. But I do find that a lot of people don't go there because they just go to gold, silver, bronze.
Yeah.
This is a really work-intensive place to buy comics, but I have bought thousands and thousands of comic books off the board. I mean, more than 10,000. And I've had some really good experiences and met some really good people, and I bought collections this way. So I love the board. I look at it all the time. I'll go 3-4 months without making a single purchase, and then I'll go in a month and buy 8 books. The thing about the CGC board is people do not like to pay retail. Know that. They might try to fill
collection.
You'll see some huge keys and no one's even biting at all because they have them overpriced. You'll see other things get posted and within seconds they're gone. There are people, I think they live on this site and they refresh every 10 seconds to see if somebody might have posted something.
Yeah, because there's not a way to like be notified if a book that you want
not that I know
is
of
on there. It's all thread based, so there's just no way for that to be possible.
But I'm here to tell you, I bought some really fantastic books, and the biggest people, even people who sell books and at conventions or they have stores, they still sell stuff here too. And this is a place I would advise everyone to go to, and you'll just be more knowledgeable if you're on the board, especially about pricing.
Also, no selling fees, which is great.
Fantastic. No selling fees, no specific way you have to pay. You can work that out. Whenever someone does a sales thread, they have to explain the rules every time, and if they don't, the moderator fixes that. Take it from me. I've been like, hey, you forgot to put if you take returns. Hey, you forgot to put how much shipping is. So
let's quickly show them what a thread looks like.
Let's go to one.
Okay, so we'll go into gold and silver bronze since that's
great.
The most popular one that we use.
Kudos thread.
Oh, this connects to a Kudos thread.
Yep. So the person's letting you know they've had experience.
And then all the rules and then the books that they have.
Yeah, show these books. This is good. This is a good indication of what it's like. Well, that's a huge key. You just passed it. Let's just back up a little bit. So, yeah, Justice League 28. They got a 3.0 off-white pages. That's the thing about the board. At any given time, and these might only last.
Past a key.
Yeah, and look.
First appearance
of Hawkeye, 7.0 white pages.
Yeah. It doesn't say the price.
It's a nice thread. Yeah, that's the first appearance of Sinister Six and Amazing Spider-Man Annual #1.
So yeah.
So this one, he's putting all the prices at top. Usually, each book has the price right above it. Mm-hmm. The way you would buy this, you'd say you just type in, "I'll take it," and if you do that, you win the book. If you want to negotiate, you can message back and forth, negotiate with the person, and while you're negotiating, if someone else decides to buy it now, you lose the book.
Yeah, someone else takes it.
Even if they say yes, and you guys haven't solidified it on here, and you said taken per PM, private message. If you don't say that first, and someone else buys it, so there's a little bit of stress to this, but it's kind of fun. Rachel and I got very competitive when I started to teach her. Like, look, I'm on this thread that the books are so popular that people are getting them in a split second every time this guy posts them, right? So I need to walk away. I need you to do this. And man, she was buckling down.
I bought every book, even if you didn't want them.
So
I didn't know.
I forgot. I walked away. Okay. People started making fun of me in messages.
Why is he buying all of these?
Yeah, like, oh, are you a big fan of what was it we were buying?
It was that Fathom series.
Yeah, and there was another one we got deep into. Something Works.
It was bad.
Something Works. What was that? It's a Marvel.
I don't know. It was like an Avengers type of.
Yeah, it was just
comic, but it wasn't the Avengers.
And I'm getting these messages. I'm like, what are you buying there? And she goes, you said buy them?
You said buy them all, so I'm buying them all.
Because, we're copy and pasting, trying to do it in a split second. So it can be, don't waste your time. If you see a book you want to buy it, say you'll take it. All right.
Okay, the next one.
That is one of the best places to buy comic books.
Yes. And we talk about it all the time. So if you're new, we talk about it more.
Everyone else knows about this. The reason they don't, it's almost like a best kept secret.
There's a lot of people in our comments that are on there.
There are. But I'm here to tell you that I'm kind of protective over the board. I don't want a bunch of silly people.
Oh, well, again.
Trying to flame somebody.
The moderators will, you'll get kicked out real quick if you act a fool. So
don't act a fool.
Don't act a fool. Just
we say no way.
Make some money or buy some stuff.
So what's the next
The next one's Comiclink.
Okay.
Big surprise. We talk about Comiclink all the time.
Yeah, and because I sell so much on Comiclink. But notice I'm not going to tell you what I'm selling. If you like the book, you'll buy it. If you don't, you don't. So
check it out on Comiclink.
Comiclink's a great auction house because they have some very good submissions being sent to them. They're almost as big as Heritage. I like it because there's more Bronze Age. There's just more Bronze Age, and the fees are less. The fees are less here, so there's no buyer's premium typically. If you pay very fast, you won't have to pay a 3% fee. If you wait weeks to pay, you're going to get a 3% BP, buyer's premium. So try to pay fast. It's a great site. What I will tell you is that once you buy a book on this site, don't hold your breath to get the book. It takes 4 to 6 weeks.
It is a long process.
While they're slow and things are not fast, and I think slow or fast are relative, I do trust them. They ship well. Not only do I sell a lot of books, I take that money and buy books. So it's like I'm hitting
got a good give and
two
take
sides
action going on.
Because I have a credit. See, so I have this.
The credit.
I have a
we
credit.
Don't have to go into that. Here's what the website looks like if you've never seen it.
I have a credit, so I'm like, well, I got $3,000 in my credit right now.
Guess I gotta buy House of Mystery.
And this book's $2,800. Got the credit burn hole. So yeah, don't do what I do.
And they got a lot of
do what I
horror
say.
On there.
Do what I say and not what I do.
We're logged into our account right now, so here's what it looks like. It's a little crazy looking, but
yeah, this splash page is a little confusing. Let's show people how to get through this site real quick.
Yeah.
So let's go to exchanges. If you hit this, I talked about this in the last video. The one I look at is Newest Comics. And what I do is I look at this every day, and not that many books really get added. And you can see, I mean, these are nice books. Really common that they're very overpriced here. I think people are trying, the fee is 10% to sell here. Oh, what grade is that in? 7.0?
The Ghost Rider? 7.0.
Yeah. That's Marvel Spotlight number 5. That's the first appearance of Ghost Rider.
Yeah, their asking price is $3,000, but it doesn't
That's
look
too
like
much.
there's any bids. It was just listed today.
Yeah, all of these were. I actually have a bid on a book. I'm not going to say which one, but
will it not show on here if you bid on it?
It shows on there if anyone bid on it. So you'll see right now as we're going through this, there's some Golden Age books, there are some Silver Age books, and there's all the way up to modern. That's that. Let's go to another.
Okay.
Why don't you type in at the top? I'm going to look for just a random series. Let's look up Archie. When you put in the title next to it, you can pick what it is. And if you're not trying to look at what's being auctioned, you can just go to the exchange. These are not being auctioned. These are not, you won't find these in auctions, but this is, I look here all the time. And these new books that people add, they eventually go as part of these inventories, but also some books have been on here for a long time. But you'll see that it starts with the earliest copies and then you'll just start to go up. Yeah, what is that?
It's Archie number 1, CBCS 92.
Wow, that's sick. But just to give you an example, I think it's a great resource for people to look for books that you might not find on eBay. And another thing, before you were to purchase something there, you should now look at eBay, look at other sites to find out if that's the best price or the best copy. I have actually not bought a comic book because I found something and then I'm like, well, I haven't looked on eBay and there's a cheaper one on eBay. If the market is glutted, wait. Wait until you get the right price. The key to collecting comic books is patience.
But a lot of people don't have that. It's a FOMO.
Yeah. What's the next site?
The next one is Comic Connect.
Okay, so Comic Connect also has auctions. I don't buy many things in their auctions. Can you show their auction page real quick? If you look down here, there's a menu, and you can go to auctions. And if you wouldn't mind clicking on an auction. Now, this is one of their auctions. They you don't have to have it slabbed like you will in Comiclink. All books, I don't think I mentioned that. All books being sold on Comiclink auctions are slabbed. Very few rare occasions. This particular auction site has a lot of bundles. I'm not crazy about bundles. I want to know what every single book is graded. In most scenarios, there are some scenarios I don't need to know that. But you'll see that I think this is good for a value, someone who's looking for value. And there's a lot of different grades. There's a lot of mid and lower grade stuff here, where things like Heritage and Comiclink, they usually have like an auction that's all high grade and then they start breaking it down. This will be like everything mixed in.
Mix and mash of
It's
everything.
a little confusing for me. Now, I do buy comics on Comic Connect. I like to look at their exchange. So if you don't mind, you can go to bid buy, and then it's filtered on the left. And what I typically do is newest, buy it now. That's why how I look at like what's recent. And I'm looking at buy it now. I don't want to look at the auction book. So I'll go through that. And then what else I'll do is I'll go in there and I'll just pick a title. Okay. And if you want to get out of auctions, do buy it now. Yep. And start scrolling down. These are the buy it now Fantastic Fours. So that's another way I look at books. Over the years, I've bought quite a few books from here. It definitely is it's a good site to have on your radar. If you're looking for a particular book, you should check it out. I mean, I want you guys to know something. The way we sell comics and what we're going to do, we don't really compete with them. It's not exactly what I focus on. I focus on obscure and high-grade things. Not that I don't have mid and low-grade things, but I try to get rid of them, believe it or not. And I really do focus on really high-grade stuff. What's the next? What's the next one?
We got a few more. The next one's My Comic Shop. We've talked about My Comic Shop a few times in the past, but that's another place that you buy comics.
Their claim to fame is this is a great place to buy new comic books for a very large discount. In advance. You've got to be months ahead of it. There's a little bit of work to it. You got to go on there. You have to pre-order. You have to know what's going on. I have bought new books like that from My Comic Shop, and it was fine. But I like them. I have respect for them. They also have auctions. So let's click on the auction function.
Okay. Let's look at the pre-1960s lot. So this is a mix of raw and slab as well?
Yeah. Okay. Every auction site's a little bit different. So sometimes, like, I'm going back to Comiclink. Comiclink, if there's 5 seconds left and you made a bid, it doesn't stop the clock. I think this one, if memory serves, it's been a while since I bought on an auction here. The clock goes back. So I'm not crazy about auctions. When you make a bid, that it adds a minute. It's like, I think from a selling perspective, I want that to happen. From a buying perspective, I do not.
Yeah, you're more likely to not get it when that happens.
Back to what you said about FOMO. I mean, someone's FOMOing out and they decided I want to pay more than anyone's ever paid for this book, and that's who you're bidding against. I mean, I try to drop out of those every time I can, but that hasn't always been the case. Yeah, their software is a little bit different. Also, once again, they have a mix mash and a hodgepodge of things that are graded, PGX, they're all over the place.
You have to really know what you want to buy in all of these.
But it's a great place to do it. Now, there's a hack that I use this site for. If you ever want to see what a comic book cover looks like, they have a database that is second to none. Mm-hmm. Second to none. So let's look up something obscure. Look up Jimmy Olsen. Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen. Let's say that and what you'll see is this screen comes up. And this screen you have to figure out which version. So the yellow is a direct hit, right? And you look at the yellow ones and see which one matches. They're going to have a picture of every Jimmy Olsen. And when you see a yellow box, that means they have some for sale.
It's like the Marvel database, but for everything. Because Marvel's database has every image of a Marvel comic.
They've just been around for a super long time. So I'll just go through there sometimes and like look at collections, and by doing that, I see they have some for sale. Typically not super high grade, but I've bought some of my House Secrets, House of Mysteries on this. Mm-hmm. Really high grade.
They also have a really big eBay store that pops up no matter
huge.
If you search any book on eBay, there's a My Comic Shop listing for it.
Yeah, which is all consignment, right? Those aren't even their books. Mm-hmm. But this is a must in your arsenal a place to look. What else you got?
The next one's Pedigree Comics. We've talked about them before.
The owner's Doug Schmel. Good guy. I like his auctions. He has an auction that's getting ready right now. I've bought books in his auctions.
Let's look at it.
He's really, it's not called Pedigree for nothing, right? He does have a lot of Pedigree books on here, but he has a lot of high grade.
Dad.
I know, I saw it. I've already She's trying to show me something, not realizing I've already looked at it.
I'm going to show them on the screen.
I've already looked. I got to tell you, whenever Comiclink has a new auction, and there might be 1,000 books in it, I look at every single book. I don't click on every book, but I know what's on there.
Oh, First Punisher's on there.
Yeah, this is a nice auction he's got coming up. It's in preview, and I think he does one about once every 6 weeks. Great site. I mean, look, it's not going to be cheap, and he doesn't really sell raw books. And another thing about this site, if you go to his Buy It Now, he doesn't update it very often. And more often than not, when I've asked for a book on his Buy It Now, he's like, I sold that 8 years ago. But when it comes to his auctions, I would recommend him. And once again, I buy books on his auctions. I do think that I've gotten very fair prices on his auctions. So this is a great site for auctions. What else we got?
Cool. The next one is High Grade Comics.
Okay, if you don't mind pulling that up. High Grade Comics, owned by Bob Storm. It's been around for a very long time. Sells at conventions. You notice he always has 4 featured comics. And this is what I look at every time. So if you click on home again, it'll change those 4 books. So I kind of, I'll go through and I'll look at which books he's featuring. Tends to be a bit pricey, but he also negotiates pretty well. And I've bought a lot of books off him. He's got some gamification in here that's pretty fun. He's got Spin a Deal, where he has books that are discounted and you spin a wheel and you can get up to 80% off. And there have been times I've gotten 80% off. So he changes that. I think he has 700 books or so. He also allows you to create a stack where you can pick books and stack and have a electronic stack. That way, if you want to make an offer, you can make an offer on the whole stack, which I haven't seen that function anywhere else.
That's nice.
He's old school, good, very good grader. I've gotten a lot of raw books from him, and in the world of grading, I trust his grading. On the downside, he doesn't know who I am, even though I've spent a ton of money.
Probably has a lot of people buying books from him.
Yeah, but that's I'm just telling you, I've seen him at a convention and talked about some books I bought. He had no idea who I was, and we didn't talk at all, and that was disappointing. So right back to that social interaction. I think it's really important. I think he had a lot of business in 2021. He sold a lot of comic books during the comic boom. But that's just kind of, you'll see him at conventions and stuff. He's got very good inventory. He's got deep backstocks. What else we got?
So the next one is Dale Roberts Comics.
Kicking it old school. Yeah, Dale's got a picture of him and Stan Lee on the cover of this. I really like Dale. First of all, solid guy. Second of all, he does not consign. Here's something about Dale. These are his books. I like that. I think his prices tend to be at the top of the market, but he's fair. And his books move. I mean, he sells these books. So he doesn't do auctions. This is his own private website. But he does go to a lot of conventions. So if you have never been to Dale Roberts' site, definitely go and check it out. It may be way out of your range, but the whole point of this is what if you're looking for a key comic? Where do you look? We're giving you 10 places. And we're leaving some places out. I didn't want to, we're already shooting this video for a long time.
No, we have one more too.
What's next?
The last one is Mile High Comics.
Mile High Comics, owned by Chuck Rosansky. Old school comic book store, largest comic book inventory, millions and millions and millions of comics. I do not enjoy anything about this site. So first of all, it's really hard to figure it out.
I've never been to this website. My eyes hurt.
He needs to close one of his stores and take all that money and invest it in a new website. I'm just telling you. It's really cumbersome. Second of all, once you do find a book, they're way overpriced. Triple, quadruple. And I'm not talking about because it's a 9.6. I'm talking about because it's a 4.0, Some 4.0 bronze book that he's charging $18 for that you could get on eBay for $4. Yeah. So his database is the most complicated. I've bought a couple books, didn't like the grading. But when it comes to, if you're looking for something, he's got more comic books than anyone in the country. He's got a huge backstock. I would want to guess, Rachel, it's better to go into his store than try to buy them online.
I imagine. I wonder how much money he makes on this store. New in stock. Let's go there and just see what it looks like. Yeah, even then.
You've never seen this site, have you?
No, I've never gone. I wouldn't be able to go on here.
It gives you a headache.
Oh my god. Okay, stop recording on the screen.
Yeah, it's pretty archaic.
You'd have to use the search command a lot just to try and see if they have the...
So let us know where you buy comics in the comments.
Let
Just
us know.
let us know. We're curious. And,
Anywhere that we didn't list.
Yeah, and I purposely didn't talk about Whatnot.
Well, it's all individual people selling on there. And you don't buy from there.
I've never bought a book on Whatnot.
That's why we didn't talk about it.
I know people are getting good deals. There's more to comics than good deals. If you were getting good deals on 9/8 Bronze Age books, I'd be on there every day. I think people get good deals on 7/5 raw books.
Yeah, it's a lot of raws.
A lot of mid-grade raw. You know,
which isn't bad.
A lot of people that don't even tell you what grade something is, and all of a sudden someone just paid $15 for it.
I'm sure that's also a place where people like fill in their collections.
You could.
So that seems like a place to do that.
It's popular. People are getting deals.
Well, there's a lot of community there, which we talk a lot about too.
They're building a community there. Mm-hmm. They're building one.
We've talked about selling on there, but we just haven't done that.
We have an account. We just never done it. I'd want at least 200 people sitting in an auction before I start saying this. We'll start this at $1. So
we did it.
We're going to do a small unboxing. First, Rachel has some things she wanted to bring up.
Yes, so we're doing a 3,000 subscriber giveaway. We've been talking about it in the last few videos. I just wanted to announce who has won so far and announce the winner from the last video we posted. So I just in case maybe some people missed it and they didn't see if they won or not, because we haven't gotten any emails from any of these people yet. So the 4 people that have won thus far, people that have already won, are Randy Tusha, Daniela Von Der Beeck, and Country Club Comics. They have won in the last 3 videos that we posted a prize, but they don't know what the prize is yet. And the person that won from the last video is JC. So we have 4 winners. We're just going to keep announcing winners until we hit 3,000. Yep. And when we hit 3,000, we'll announce all the prizes and do a random drawing to see who gets to pick the prize first. So if you are one of those people, please get in contact with us so we can communicate with you.
Yeah, like and subscribe. It helps us out. If you like our content and you want us to keep making it, that's the way to support us.
Yeah, so if you want to be in this week's or this episode's drawing, just like, comment, and subscribe. And then we'll announce on the next video who won that video.
So I got a small box of comics back from an auction. Let's look at them. These are from Comiclink.
Cool.
Yep.
All right, let's take a look at the first one. This first one's Strange Adventures, number 184. It is a 9/0 off-white to white pages, second appearance of Animal Man. Gil Kane cover.
Yep, so this was not cheap. I think I got in a battle with whoever else wanted these. These are tough to get in grade.
Oh, 9/0s, nice.
So I like Animal Man. Dig Animal Man.
There are 58 total copies in the census, and there are 10 9/0s. There's 13 higher graded copies.
This is for my PC. So, so far, it's really the highest grade copy I've seen in a long time. I'd like to upgrade it one day, but I'm happy to have a 9/0. Yeah.
That's nice. The last 9/0 to sell was in 2021. It sold for $289. Recorded sale, I'll say, because this sale obviously was not recorded.
This is an unrecorded sale.
There were only 2 sales that were recorded in 2021, so there were no recorded sales in 2022. So it's hard to say.
Yeah, so I paid $285. Super happy to get it, and I'll tuck it in. By the way, it looks good. It's a good looking 9/0.
It does. It's very purple.
Yeah. I was very excited.
Okay, this next one is Strange Adventures number 190. It is a 9/0 off-white to white pages. It's the first appearance of Animal Man in costume. Immortal Man backup story, and it is a Murphy Anderson cover.
Yeah, leave me mine. So I have 2 copies of this. These books, I really don't like to mess with them if I don't have to. The paper on these is really thick. Things show up on these books that wouldn't show up on other paper because of the way the paper is. Yep. So I don't want to ever downgrade a book, and I'm going to talk about downgrading in a second because I have one coming up. But anyway, got this first Animal Man in costume, and by the way, what a great cover. Animal Man fan.
Yes, there are 130 of those in the census. There are 10 9/0s. It's very similar to the other one.
This is going in my PC.
We have a theme here. This is Strange Adventures number 219. This is a special one. It's a 9/4 white pages, Joe Kubert cover, Rocky Mountain pedigree.
I like Rocky Mountain. A lot of people, this is a really good pedigree. It's got a good reputation, man. This has a date stamp on it. Doesn't bother me. This is a reprint, by the way. I like the Joe Kubert cover. These are not expensive. I just like this copy. I thought it was a really nice 9/4, and I don't have a copy of it. So
there
I bought
are
it.
only 16 in the census, so...
Yeah, I don't think people really aggressively collected these because they were reprints.
Yeah.
Back when I was growing up and we were young buying comic books, reprints were like throwaways. We did not treat reprints with the respect they deserve. We just did.
Yeah. And then just for GPA sake, the last 9.4 sold for $65.
Yeah, and this is Rocky Mountain, so it'd be a little higher.
Yeah.
I don't think I paid more than that. I might have paid less than that.
Yeah, I think you did.
But I like it. So it's a Kubert cover. I dig it. Anyway, Here we go.
The next one is Strange Adventures 242. It's a 9.6 off-white to white pages, and it's a Murphy Anderson cover as well.
Love the Murphy Anderson cover on this.
9.6.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
It's a nice book.
1972.
Yeah, it's 20 center. It was inexpensive. I did not have a nice copy of it. It's not like a book that I'm really aggressive about, but I like these types. This is my era. If you see that on there, yeah.
There's 20 of those in the census. Highest graded is 9.8. There's 10 altogether for 9.896.
It'd be nice to get this in a 9.8. Anyway, once again, it's reprints. So
yeah, and then the last 9.6 sold in 2007, and it was a Donna Rosa collection copy.
Another great pedigree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I said Donna, but it's Don Rosa.
Don Rosa's a great pedigree. What do we have next?
The next one is not a Strange Adventures. This is Weird Mystery Tales number 23. It is a 9.4 white pages. It's an Ernie Chan cover. Mm-hmm. It's really cool. Witches.
So yeah. Love this cover, and I thought that as a 9.4, I bought the book and not the grade on this one. Mm-hmm. I do think I could improve it, and I might or might not. I love the colors of this. You know how I feel about horror, so I didn't own this book. I got it really cheap.
It does look really nice. It's like a new slab too.
Yeah, it presents really well, and I really like Ernie Chan art. So This is a nice one. Just tuck in. That's definitely a PC book.
Mm-hmm. And there's 16 of those in the census. Highest graded is 9.6. And there's 7 9.6s.
Oh, that's interesting. I really want. I like the witches. I think that they're drawn well.
Mm-hmm. The last sale for a 9.6 was, or it's a 9.4. The last is $76 in 2005. So they're not trading a lot.
But that's not a bad amount of money for a book.
Well, it's 2005. It's hard to relate that.
Just because there's not sales doesn't mean they're not popular. They just don't show up. And a lot of times these are really low grade, and people wouldn't send them in unless they thought they were 9.6 or 9.8 typically. Because of the
and people
era.
are obviously holding on to them because I mean it looks like a 9.6 sold in 2021, but even then it's like that's one book.
DC horror all day long. Now the Strange Adventures. I wanted to tell a quick story about this book.
Yes.
Would you show this, please?
Yeah. So this is our book. We already own this before the auction. It's Strange Adventures 180. It is a 7.0 off-white to white pages. It's the origin and first appearance of Animal Man, and it is also a Murphy Anderson cover.
This was an 8.5. I bought it and looked at the back cover, and I saw a bend, right? But I'm looking at the book, and I'm looking at it that it's a 9.2. So I crack it. Because really the only thing is this bindery issue up here. It also has a dust shadow here. Mm-hmm. But it's a super nice book. Did some work on it. When I pulled it out and cracked it out of the old case, this corner immediately tore.
There's a nice little rip in there. But it's like a perfectly, like a straight one.
Still barely see it.
X-Acto.
You would, if you look at this book, there's no way you're going to think it's a 7.0. But because it's torn here, it looked like a 9.2.
You just got to take the L, Dad.
Well, I'll tell you what. Paid $1,000 for it. Yeah. And happy to get it. Now it's worth under $500. So
that is a bummer.
I'm still looking for a replacement copy. I wanted this book in like a 9.0 or a 9.2, and then I'd be happy. So I'm not happy. That's it for today.
We did it. Thanks so much for watching.
We did it.
If you like this kind of content, please let us know. And again, if you want to be entered into our 3,000 subscriber giveaway, every day we get a little closer. Like, comment, subscribe. It's free to do all of those things, and you might win something cool.
And it supports us.
It
anyway,
does.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
See you next time.
See ya.